Alright, so this video is just going to go through the development of custom view templates. Alright, so we have our view that we just dropped in from the previous demonstration, our family here that we have set up, and we've adjusted the line weights here so we can actually see that that's been affected. So when we actually get in here and produce a sheet out of this document, we'll actually be able to see that if we pull it up in Illustrator, which I'll do in another demo. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're actually going to select it, and if we scroll down here we're going to see identity data view template, and it says none. So we're going to come over here and actually generate this. If we set this to architectural elevation and then we just click duplicate, we can replicate the elevation here. So we'll call this robot motion elevation. And we'll set this to 1/8. Hit OK. So you can see that now that appears, and that's a replication of this other guy up here. And that enables us to customize some things. So if we come in here, we can actually start to set some of these up. And the first thing I'm going to do is, if we go under annotation categories, all the levels here that you can see populating this, dimensions, we don't necessarily want that. We may down the road, but for right now I'm going to say that we probably don't. And we hit apply, hit OK, just so we can see that. We're going to apply that view template to our guy. And if we look now, we no longer see those view templates, those things applied, sorry. And then so we can go over here and under the import settings, just like this, any one of these guys will take you back to this thing, model categories. So we've got imported categories here, the arms moving. We can come over here and override this. So we'll set that to line weight 2, and we can override the color. And override the pattern if we haven't set those previously in the object styles of another document. Okay, and so again, so if we hit apply, we see that update on our geometry here, and you can do that for each one of these guys. Right, this hands, we can go over here and set the line weight to 1, color to black, and we want a solid pattern. Hit OK. Hit apply, and it doesn't do anything because that was already what it was set to. Right, so we hit apply and OK. And there's a number of settings that you guys can go through here and actually set this up. But what happens that's really nice about this is once you set this up, and I'll select this, I can adjust this guy and pull the view title over. Once you set up a view template, you can come in here and drop another view. And it looks like our guy might be floating off it somewhere, so let's go back to our level here. Oh, there we go. So because of this view sees everything in this direction, it's in there. But because this view is pointing this, we're actually back behind the clipping plane. So we'll set MV. We'll move all that. Center him up. Alright, so now if we go back to our view, we should see our robot. So let's go back down here to our elevations we set up. And again, so we have all this extra stuff floating around in here. And now, since we've already done the view template once, if we just click view template and then robot motion at 8 scale and hit apply, it will automatically carry over all of the graphics that we set up previously. So we only ever have to edit one of those guys. And I'm just going to pull that over. One of these days I'm going to get Revit to cooperate. Right. So then we can come over here, and since we're looking at each one of these elevations at 8 scale, rename this elevations north and south. Hit OK. Alright, and then we have A3 here. Oh, actually, here we're going to rename this a 2.1. We name this a 2.2. Elevations east and west. Okay. So what we would then do is we're trying to diagram some of the motions that our robot would be able to have. That's not a very good sentence. But if we come into our front view and go into our right view, we could actually set up our robot so we could diagram the same motions going in different directions. Okay. And so what we then do is we essentially set up a new family, and then plug that in and take views from that and plug that in. And I'll go over how to manipulate that a little bit farther down the road. But what we can do is we can activate that view, and we'll take our east view, view template, Alright, we'll come in here, and I'm actually going to show you guys that. We want to edit the crop region, so we definitely want to crop the view, then we want to see the crop region visible, and we also want to annotate the crop. If we double click on this, this will activate the viewport, and we can select this, and these guys are tethered together, so as I pull this, the annotation crop, that's that dashed line around there, will also get adjusted. We have this guy, which is our, I forget the name of it, but right. Oop. We can also hide in view, and we won't see that anymore. So I don't think that renders. And then once we're done setting this up, we'll double click off there, and we'll pull this over. So now we have this box, and we can either come down here and we still want to crop the view, but if we turn off the crop region there, we won't see that. And again. And double click. Pull it over, and you'll note I didn't turn on the annotation crop checkbox, so we don't see that, but we still can edit these guys, because I am going to be able to crop the visible region of the view. And it's going to try and snap to that, which is what we want. Oh. Oh. Can never get this right. There we go. Alright, and then we'll turn off the region visible, and we can start to set up our sheets. Alright, so that's going to be how you guys are going to start to set this up. And the one other thing that we can start to look at in here is that, like, if we open up this view, he looks kind of like he's floating here, right? So I'm going to hide this in view. We want to add some things and annotations. Like, say we want this guy to be standing on a nice ground plane. We can create a region in here, and I'll just close that out. And if we draw a rectangle, we can actually just use that snap. We'll make it 3 feet. And V. This is only going to be in this view. And if we hit complete, we can select this and solid black. So now we can give it a solid ground plane. And that's only going to apply to this view, because this is a way you can literally draw over views. But if we hit Control C, let's see if it lets me activate this, Control V. We can add that in. So we can give us a nice sort of, let's see if it'll snap it. There we go. Okay, so now our stuff starts to align. we can do exactly the same with the north and the south on the sheets. Alright, and so that's going to be how you guys are going to start to be able to put together some of this stuff. Alright, and then once you guys start to have some of these together, you might want to go through and check them. And so what we're going to do now is I'll just go and show you guys how to print. So we go print. We're going to send this to Adobe PDF. Maybe. Alright, and then I'm going to combine multiple sheet selected views into a single file. And I'll go ahead and select the views, sheet 1 and sheet 2. No. And then we come over here to our default setup here. We can go to landscape 11 by 17. That matches the sheet size that we have. Then we want to zoom 100%. We don't want this to adjust our scale at all. So that way you could actually put a scale on the drawings that are going to come out of the document. All right. So we hit OK. And we'll just go ahead and center it in there. Hit OK. We'll put this on the desktop. Revit robot test. Alright, so you can see that this got done being generated, and we have our 2 pages that I selected, and it's pretty dense actually. I think it sucks about Adobe Acrobat, it doesn't really do that great a job of carrying over our line weight stuff, but it looks like it's starting to turn on the hand tool. You can see that we're starting to be able to differentiate this stuff in here. Actually, looks like it did a reasonable job. The latest edition must have updated here. So we have our line weight set, and then we have our lighter line weights for the stuff that we're masking in. And obviously this isn't ideal for what we're going to be representing for our guy in our elevations, but that'll look pretty good when we get into this. Okay. Alright, and so that's going to be essentially how you guys are going to ultimately start to set some of these things up and then get these sheets out. And then in some of the later demonstrations, I'll show you guys how you can crop some of the views and make some other adjustments. But this should get you going so you guys can actually start placing drawings of your geometry in there. And we're going to be, like, right now I'm just singling out the arms, and I'm like, you guys are going to be doing this. No. It's really pleasing me. I'm singling out the arms, so you guys are going to be doing the legs, the head, whatever, anything that you have moving on your robot is also going to be moving. Or if you guys have the robot that you've actually, like say Emma went through and designed a sphere, you're actually going to sort of diagram the actual movement of the geometry of the robot itself. Okay, and that should get you set up.